Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Internet Commerce Summit, and I hope you guys are having a great time. I just want to give a little perspective of what we are seeing the retail industry is going through. As you would know, pandemic has posed a very big challenge in front of the retail industry, and every retailer is posed today with the question as to what does omni-channel mean and what is that transition going to look like in the future. Omnichannel as a concept was always there. It has been there for almost a decade. But I think different organizations or different retailers were at different levels of maturity in terms of omnichannel. And different retailers also understood it in a slightly different way. But with the advent of COVID, what has happened is the acceleration towards omnichannel adoption has increased so fast that some of the retailers are able to catch up with that speed. But that I think is a main topic across the retail fraternity that everybody is kind of worried about. What does it take to transition from their traditional or orthodox ways of working or traditional business models to a truly omni-channel business model? And I think that is an kind of a $1 million question which every retail CEO, every retail strategist is asking to the street today. And what we'll kind of do today is try to give you a little bit of perspective as to how which I represent from an industrial perspective. And we have Dr. Sarangi, who is an eminent faculty from MICA, who will basically try to give a spin around how futuristic the omni-channel transition journey could be, and he will kind of guide us through the research which is happening in this domain, and we'll also kind of touch upon the project that we are working on, which is the transition playbook, which I think would be a very easy way for the retail executives, be it the CEO, the marketing officers, and the transformation officers, to basically look at ways by which they can chart on this journey, and we'll kind of understand the various aspects through this playbook. So if I may start, Dr. Sarangi, uh,
Mhm.
obviously in the last 1 decade we have been hearing about transformation of retail, advent of e-commerce, and all those forces which are kind of driving this retail consumer industry.
Yep.
It is nothing new. COVID has accelerated, it has given a jolt, I understand it. But why is it that a lot of organizations are still not able to transition to a purely omni-channel context to give a very great experience to the customer? In your view, in your research that you have been kind of talking to faculties worldwide, what do you see as the key factors around these?
Okay. Thanks a lot. First, I would like to thank the organizers of Internet Commerce Summit for taking out time and organizing this summit at this moment. And the time period of choosing the summit is also pretty critical. And I think when the best from the industry and from academia, together join their hands and minds, it gives rise to disruptive thoughts and ways and means to actually resolve the issues that the industry, the consumer, and the entire ecosystem is facing. So, Piyush, you're absolutely right. When you say that the industry is struggling and the retail industry has been struggling to put up the framework of omni-channel in the right perspective, and we are increasingly seeing that firms are going bust, whether it is Toys R Us, or whether Amazon is struggling to put a physical format from an online format. So that struggle is on, right? And there are many copycat versions of Warby Parker and so on, which is coming up, and therefore so on one hand, while firms are going from offline to online, online to offline, but what is it that is leading to the struggle? First and foremost, for any format to succeed, there has to be liquidity in the market. The major challenge that is happening is liquidity. So there is a challenge and issue in market structures where liquidity is not emerging, and liquidity can only emerge when there are enough number of buyers meeting enough number of sellers in whichever format possible. Does not matter. But then there has to be liquidity that is to be created. And see, at the backdrop of this pandemic that you talked about perfectly, COVID-19, the customer is sitting back. The customer doesn't want to take the risk and come out and go to the store, brick and mortar store, and buy. The customer wants to sit back and order from the home, and the retail is struggling to deliver to the customer, where the retail was aligned to a brick and mortar, especially in emerging market economies like India, China, Brazil, Vietnam, and so on and so forth. So on one hand, now the retail is having a brick and mortar format with depressed consumer buying behavior, depressed economic activity, liquidity under crunch. On top of it, the customer is demanding that you deliver me at home. So on my existing overheads, you want me to build further overheads. So what do I do with my brick and mortar stores? So the issue is, about liquidity, which is a major crunch, and therefore market structures are not evolving. So essentially, research in this direction, and a lot of folks have talked about. There are new concepts that have come up. You must have heard about supercharging. Supercharging was a concept talked about Bell et al. 2019 in a fantastic article in Management Science, and there they are saying that this concept of supercharging that they're saying is online stores are coming up with zero inventory stores in the offline format in order to boost online sales. So I want to go to the zero inventory store and look at the physical product and then want to place an order in the online format. So zero inventory, and that concept they're calling it supercharging. So essentially, even whether it is apparel, whether it is grocery, whether it is, you just name it, shoes, whether it is perfumes, watches, whatever you may say, firms essentially need to start coming out, disrupting the business models, beat this liquidity, whether it's an exchange, whether it is a mega exchange, whether it is an offline, online format. So essentially, we are going back to the point of omnichannel only because it is omni. You have to be there everywhere. So that is a challenge firms are grappling. If you look at India, I mean, since we have a lot of students, and nowadays a lot of hirings happen from companies through competitions. You would look at majority of the competitions, especially in the FMCG space, firms are asking students pan-India to give them a D2C model. Tell us the competitions predominantly. I was just helping out some students working on L'Oreal case competition, and another was Colgate-Palmolive. They're just asking them to work on a D2C model. So we want to go direct. So tell me the D2C model. So everybody's grappling. They don't know when the COVID vaccine is going to come. So that challenge is going to remain. Liquidity is a major crunch. Technology is an issue. Technology is to enable connectedness between the buyer and the seller, and the consumer, and the retail format, and the service provider, and the 3PL, third-party logistics, the warehouse guy, and so on. So these are the challenges that people have to grapple and come out with. So that will be my answer to what you're saying. But having said that, I would like to learn from you something. So since you have worked significant amount of time, whether it's in the US or in Europe or in Middle East or in India, and you have advised and worked with great brands, right? Based on your experience, how do you think, therefore, industry is preparing itself to come out with solutions to all of this, based on your experience and what you have seen and interacting with CIOs and chief supply chain officers and other CXOs? Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. I think, Dr. Sarangi, you made out a very 2 points that I want to just take on and then build on what industry is seeing. You talked about market structure and you talk about disrupting the own business model. I think these are 2 very valid points, although you might have given a very passing remark to this, but these are very transformative in nature. It's like doing giving a new birth. It's like doing a bypass surgery. It's so complex and critical that maybe a lot of organizations are not able to grapple with the magnanimity of this change which is out there. Okay. And I think that is where a big challenge lies. And believe me, with more than 2 decades of experience working with best of retail in the world, it has taken a good amount of time, even with the best brands in the world, to understand what is omnichannel. And so you would understand this concept of understanding how that transformation has to happen. What are the various aspects? And unfortunately, believe me, before we were discussing about this research project, there is no single place where you can find real great in a real great detail what does omni-channel transformation entail, what are
Indeed.
the various components. Yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
that to me is the biggest gap,
Hmm.
which I think a lot of these CX employees or CX level executives are grappling with, saying that what do I need to do? Is it kind of getting a new channel? Okay, if I'm offline, let me start online and I will be omni-channel. And I think there are some of these myths which have been put on by, let's say, technology service providers, or by some people who have been just doing marketing and not having a very very holistic view of an organization to do a
Absolutely.
360-degree transformation. And I think that is where the whole problem lies. And I think
Absolutely.
when we were discussing about this problem, I think that is when this idea of creating a new
Playbook.
omni-channel framework, omni-channel transition framework will be so relevant for organizations. And I'm pretty sure that most of the industry folks who are undergoing this transition or starting this transition or are in the middle of this transition will find this research and this playbook so much handy. And that is where I want to kind of get your views as to how do you think can we standardize this, what amount of research can be brought in so that we from industry can actually benefit from it, and basically have a not a very structured but at least a mark on this journey of omnichannel transition. What are your thoughts on the research aspect of it?
Okay, so thank you again, Piyush. Great perspective, and I think this summit is a culmination of that. And this summit stands at a point in time where practitioners and academia will meet, debate, discuss, ideate, and help us to not just evolve, also lead us to the development of what we have discussed actually between us, the omni-channel readiness index, in other words, if I may call so. So, like what we have conceptualized now, if I would were to say, I mean, what is this omni-channel readiness index? Readiness index essentially would help us to measure the performance readiness of different retail firms, companies, on how, what is the degree of readiness, what is the level of competency across different dimensions and sub-dimensions. So essentially, how what we think or what we have thought about, and how I would say we would propose to go ahead in this research is, we essentially need to go ahead and identify the different dimensions. Those dimensions need to come up with based on some amount of discussions, feedback from industry practitioners representing different retail industries, comes out from existing literature that is done, research that is already available, extant literature, works that have been done on omnichannel. So based on those dimensions that we identify, which would talk about the performance in omnichannel of a particular company and its preparedness, broken down into further sub-dimensions. So based on that primary research, discussions, in-depth interviews, focus discussions, and extended literature review, we will develop a set of parameters. Now, those parameters and sub-parameters need to be then assigned certain quantitative, measuring weightage, which essentially has to come through a technique that typically that we use in mathematical modeling research called AHP. So using AHP, the weightages can be assigned, by of course taking inputs again from a set of a sample of experts, and then we arrive at that overall computational index, and this particular index will help the industry to check its own readiness. And by providing that in a set of dimensions and sub-dimensions, if the industry goes ahead and puts in their assessment of where they stand on each of these parameters, the score will, you will arrive at the score based on the weightages that have been arrived at mathematically using AHP as a technique. Now, we as the owners of that index, will have to, of course, revisit the parameters from time to time, because the context is evolving, the industry is evolving. So therefore, that has to be revisited depending on a certain time frame and disruptions that are happening in the environment. And that will be a continuous process. So from customer satisfaction studies that were happening, they have become irrelevant, and they are irrelevant. They are of no use. Shopper satisfaction or shopper experience. I think we have to move from shopper experience to shopper assurance. The shopper needs to be assured now on availability, on risk, on safety, on security. So many, because of this pandemic, it has completely changed the very dimension of shopping. So, so our this omni-channel index will measure all these aspects of preparedness and readiness of retail, on all these perspectives. So that is how I would like to answer your question. So having said that, that leads to one more point in my mind. I wanted to check with you and in fact get your thoughts as to how is industry managing this change, and how do you see this execution going to happen, and the change management aspect from the retail industry perspective? If you could throw some light into that, please.
Sure, and I think what has happened is, unfortunately, from whatever experience that I have seen the organizations go through, that this journey has been looked at in a very fragmented approach, and I think that is where what we are trying to propose as an integrated view of the organization as a whole was something which was missing. So, for example, I'll give you, there would be somebody who would be managing channels of interactions with the customer. And what would happen is there would be a head who would manage the offline channel. There would be a head who would manage the or the online channel. Somebody else who will manage the third-party marketplace model channel. And that is why there were always these silos which were created, which had goals, metrics, and measurement frameworks, which are very different. So an online channel has a very different metrics to measure as compared to an offline channel. But what is needed, I think, is a very integrated view, and that is what omnichannel is all about. But unfortunately, there was no one who was trying to stitch everybody together and create ecosystems. And when I talk about ecosystem, that is what I think we will allude in the book, is that how we can create a single view of the customer and look everything within the organization from the lens of the customer. The customer does not care whether supply chain has faulted or marketing has faulted or HR has faulted or operations has faulted or product design. It wants a good experience. Absolutely. And the organizations have to all come together to kind of stitch all these silos which are there across channels to give that relevant and an important experience. And I think that is what I see is the need of the hour. And that is why, as research or some unofficial figures are being quoted, saying that 70% of these transitions are not working. And the most primary reason is that everybody is trying to look at it from a silos point of view. And I think this playbook, in my view, is a step in the direction in which we are trying to bring everything together, look from the view of the consumer, and then try to make sure that experience is of prime importance. And organization has to kind of align to that experience and basically deliver that to the promise of the customer. So, Dr. Sarangi, I think it was a pleasure talking to you. I really enjoy having these discussions, but I think this is a subject in itself, and that is why we are coming out with this playbook, which I think would be a real game changer in the industry, both from an academia plus an industry perspective. And we hope that we'll get more feedback from our listeners and viewers in the days to come, so that we can make this much more enriching and be helpful for the society.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you so much.